Here we are back for our last huddle up of the spring season, and we'll be back in August, so don't lose us. But today, joining me as always, Rob. Hey, Rob, how's it going, man?
Hey, Frank.
And today, our guest is Fran Conway, 1986 grad, played with Rob, offensive lineman. Fran, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm enjoying it and looking forward to it.
So it's the
Welcome,
other
Frank.
Fran, and so I'm finally glad we can put that out there. There's two Frans. There's Francis Xavier Massantonio and Francis Xavier Conway.
Right? And I tell everybody, don't call me Francis.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a junior.
I love it.
I went to Italy for a short time, and in Italy, no one would call me Fran or Francis. They only called me Francesco,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Okay.
I could live with
Yeah, I was
Francesco
gonna
as
say
my
that's kind of
name.
cool. I like that.
Well, I'm half Italian too, but I got the Irish last name. But I'm a junior, so to avoid confusion at family gatherings, everybody, my dad was Frank and I'm Fran, so that's
Uh-huh.
how
Uh-huh.
it stayed as Fran. So,
And not to and
um,
not to dwell on it, but it was weird. I had an Italian grandfather, Frank, and I had an Irish grandfather, Francis.
oh
Nice.
geez,
The Irish grandfather passed away while my mother was carrying me, and so they chose Fran.
okay,
But the Italian grandfather only ever called me Frankie. He said, "You Frankie."
okay.
Nice, nice.
Well, Fran, I don't know if you remember this. A couple of years ago, one of the golf outings, a couple of us were getting out of our cars, and you came over and you said, "I'm Fran," and I said, "So am I," and it kind of caught you off guard.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it because I never hear of another Fran in the world. You never see him.
No,
Plus, I can't remember anything beyond at least 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah, exactly. We've all reached that age.
yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm
All
with
right,
you.
so here we go. Fran, talk about
Yes.
the golf outing and why should more guys plan to participate next year?
Okay. Well, that's a good answer. That's a great question. It's a great question. I mean, I'll give the good answer. Um, the golf outing, as always, has been great. You see guys that you haven't seen in a long time. You meet new guys that you haven't met before. Um, I haven't played in the last, I think the last 3 years. So this is the first time playing in 3 years. I wasn't expecting much. I did okay. I wasn't worried about hitting a great golf ball.
I never do.
yeah,
If the
it's not
ball went
about
in the
golfing.
woods, well, here's the thing. I 5 years ago, actually in March, I had my right shoulder replaced,
Yeah.
and then in September I had my left shoulder replaced. So I missed a year, and the problem was because my shoulders were hurting so bad, I had to adjust my swing. And when after the shoulder replacements, I'm ready to go, I couldn't get my swing back, so I can't hit the ball to save my life. But I came in and I wasn't worried about it. I said, I'm just going to have fun. And we had a good time. Clyde was with us, Rob.
Line
And
Tinner, the best.
yes. So, and Steve Hastings.
Stacked.
No, we had a good time and I love going. I love seeing everybody. Um, I think it's for that reason and that reason only that more guys should plan to participate is because it's the one time you can really concentrate and talk to everybody, and get to see everybody.
Yeah.
There was a lot of guys that I didn't see that I usually see, but I think that if you think about homecoming, there's too many distractions, right? If some guys are in a fraternity or at the fraternity tent, some are on the field, some are in the stands, some are at the Red Raider tent. People are everywhere. So, you really don't get to see everybody as much. So that's why I like the golf outing in that. And even a little bit more than the spring game because it's just guys and it's just golf and talking,
Yeah.
no distractions.
No serious conversation whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Well, it's kind of funny because we played I played Saturday with my group of guys, and so Coach Gallardi was on I think number 13, par
Yep.
three,
Yep.
cooking hot dogs
Yep.
and
Heard about
serving
it.
beers, and that was great. That was fun, and Jamie Ware was there. He got up and spoke afterwards. They handed out a ton of door prizes and other stuff, also skill prizes. It was just a great day. We had great weather. so many guys. Every time you just walk around and meet so many guys that, I haven't seen. Josh Goodman was there. I haven't seen Josh in a long time. And I think just the coolest thing about it is with everything with anytime you go to an alumni event, it's just guys from all decades, man.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
said, Hastings. I mean, I coached I coached Stevie Hastings, when he was a freshman, it's just cool to see those guys and catch up. So
Oh
highly
yeah.
recommend.
I'm really sad that I missed this year. This is the first year I missed in a bunch of years.
Yeah.
Sadly, I had a family commitment, but I'm kind of envious. Like you guys are coming, yeah, I missed out on because it's just you guys know that feeling you have when you're back with your guys.
Oh
And
yeah.
Yeah.
I did the
I
same
missed
thing
that.
last year, Rob. I missed it last year
Yeah,
because
it's
my
gonna
wife and
happen.
I,
Yeah,
we had a
every once
family
in a while.
commitment. It was torture. It was
Yeah.
torture knowing that I was at like a family function and I could have
And
been golfing.
you got the great weather. I usually get there when it's raining.
That's true. So, Fran, you and Hastings and a couple other guys were there, and you were kind of honoring Rodney Kagarise, who passed away, this past year. Once again, I got to coach Rodney briefly as a
Okay.
freshman. Talk about what you guys put together and what
Sure.
that meant.
Absolutely. Rodney, myself, and Steve, and John McLaughlin,
John McLaughlin,
who his daughter graduated on Saturday, and I told him just skip the graduation and come to the outing,
yeah.
but he didn't. But anyway, so usually it was us four, maybe one or another, depending on who couldn't make it. John Rees will play with us once in a while, but Rodney, part of the group. And we had to find another player because Rodney wasn't with us.
Yeah.
He's golfing up in the heavens, and I think that's why he couldn't play last year. I don't remember, but that was when I think was really starting to kick in the illness. So Steve and John and I are talking. We got a little chat line going, a little text line, and I was like, you know what, we got to get a sign made. And I had the picture. I should have showed it to you.
I got it. I'll put it up. I'll put it up on the screen. I got it.
No, we have a picture of the four of us
Oh.
when someone sponsored a hole for Vito Ragazzo.
Oh, right. I remember that.
And we got a picture with that sign.
Oh, yeah. Send me that. Send me that. I'll put that up.
Okay. I had to find it, but I know it's somewhere. And I saw it recently. But so anyway, so I said to these guys, we got to sponsor a hole. We got to get a sign made and to honor Rodney. We miss him.
Yeah.
He was a great guy, solid teammate. He wasn't in your face, kind of rah stuff. He was reserved, but he got the job done. He was faster than me. He always finished ahead of me in sprints, which I hated. But so I was like, we got to do something. Let's do it. Let's sponsor a hole. And Steve Hastings took care of that. Thanks, Steve. I saw you give him the sign. So, so everybody knows, Steve is going to send the sign to his Rodney's wife, Denise Kagarise, because that kind of went unresolved too. Because she used to come to the spring game. We didn't get to really celebrate with Rodney, and a lot of us couldn't. I couldn't make the funeral. There were two of them, but at least now that kind of closes a little circle with Denise and Rodney, and the fact that we're all in the Red Raider family. So I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
The sign turned out perfectly. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I was like, I'm glad we did it. So
yeah, Rodney was a good guy. I mean, the little bit that I knew him, it's kind of weird because a year ago at the spring game, Rob, if you remember, on Saturday of spring game a year ago, John Sell passed away.
Yes.
The same day and he wanted to be there for the game and he couldn't make it and he ended up passing away. And then 2 days before the golf outing this year, Ralph Liberati, who also played with me, has passed away. And I tell you, you get to this age and you start losing guys, and I think it's great to commemorate them, to remember them, and Rodney was a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I heard you did something at the spring game. I couldn't come to the spring game, but I'm glad that we mentioned it, and I even said something to Denise. I said we're going to try and do something with Rodney, I didn't get in touch with her, have her come to the game, but at least we have something that's permanent with the sign, and that Denise is going to get that sign. And I believe Steve was talking to her over the phone or texting on Saturday, and she was very pleased, very happy.
Good.
So, good
Fran
stuff.
Conway, did you happen to see your Facebook memories today and what picture came up?
No.
Okay, so it's a picture that you put out 7 years ago. We're in U Grill, and it's a bunch of us. There's got to be
Oh, I've been looking for that.
Yes, it's on your Facebook memory because it came up on mine, but it's you. You said with Rob Clark, and you listed everybody, but Rodney is standing right next to us.
Yes.
So it's a great picture, and it came up today, and I'm not gonna lie, I brought a little tear to my eye because I'm like, ah, shoot, there's Rodney.
Yeah.
Knew that I missed the outing, and but check your Facebook memories. It's there, buddy.
I talked to Coach Gallardi because we talked about trying to make it an overnight thing, whether that's Saturday afterwards or Friday night before, to put another element into the golf outing to try to get guys to come back, stay at a hotel, and play, and whether it's the night after the outing or not. But he's talking about that. He's thinking about what, how to get more guys to participate. I mean, he had a good number this year, which is great. I think he ended up with around 90 guys, which is about the average of what they've gotten. So
Okay.
I think there's a chance that we'll put something together.
Yeah, well, we got to get that up. We got to get up to 120. That's the goal. I've already said that. Like, that's what we're going to go for. We're going to get that next year.
Yeah.
Put that on the record.
I heard IUP has 2 flights at their golf outing, so
that's the way it's going.
Yeah, but it probably sucks.
All right, so let's start talking some football. So Fran brought you to Shippensburg University.
That is a great question. And believe it or not, I didn't want to come here at first. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a thought, because I live in Malvern, which is in Chester County. Westchester University was 15 minutes away. They recruited me. I did a visit, met with the coach. I even have a letter from the coach saying, I'm glad you picked Westchester. And then my dad stepped in. Son, you can't go to Westchester. It's too close to home. I'm like, it's April. I'm like, I got to do something soon. And so I basically contacted the football office at Shippensburg, and we were coming to pick up my sister. She was 2 years ahead of me. Okay. So when we came to pick her up, that's when I did a visit. And one of the grad assistant coaches took me around. I gave him game film, and showed me everything about Shippensburg. And then that was it from that point on. Since recruiting was already done, I had to walk on. Okay. And I got stories about that too. But so that's what brought me to Shippensburg. Actually, my sister went here. Westchester was too close to home. And my dad didn't understand. We go home, we go away. We leave in August, right? We don't come home till Thanksgiving. So he thought I would be at home all the time. I'd miss out on the college life and everything. And you know what? It worked out because I met my wife at Shippensburg.
That's good. There you go.
So, which was 40 years ago in April.
There you go.
We met on a blind date, and we've been together ever since.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, it was the night before my last spring game. Okay. The only time I went out to a party the night before a game, because I never went out. I always stayed in. But I went, and, I'll admit it now, 40 years later. I had a couple of beers, and, we loosened up, and then we got along.
Nice.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So, I'm glad it worked out. And it's great because the good thing about the regular football is that I have so many friendships now.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I love it. And I roomed my senior year. I roomed with 2 guys I played against in high school, and Reinhardt and Woodsy. They happen to be great friends. We still stay in touch. We get together once in a while. And Mike Truitt, who played in front of me, Rob,
yeah,
he's 5 minutes down the road. We get together all the time. We have barbecues. Cool. We went to their daughter's wedding. They've had us over. We've had them over. The whole thing. So Yeah, I mean, I've got an awful lot of friendships, and that's what I love about it. All these relationships that have been created because of Red Raider football.
Yeah.
Now, I
So,
hope you don't care that I share this. I mean, but you were a walk-on. You told me you were a walk-on,
right.
and that's a struggle. It's tough when you're a walk-on, and you end up, you told me you were like kind of like number one backup on all the offensive line positions. Started some games
Yeah,
at tackle and at center. You
right.
know, what are some of the highlights, man? And talk about maybe about, how'd you get there? How did you get to that where you got from a walk-on to playing ball?
I and if Coach Gallardi ever lets me talk to the team, the first thing I'm going to say is perseverance,
Yep.
because especially that first year, I don't know if you have to flub it out, but I got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I was on the scout team going against the number one defense,
Pretty much
and
all did. We pretty
Yeah.
much all got our ass kicked
yeah,
freshman year.
yeah. So, one of the great guys, and we talk about players that may have influenced him. One of them was Glenn Hurd, who rest in peace.
Yeah.
I came as a tackle because that's what I played in high school, but I knew I was going to move to center because I wasn't tall enough to be a tackle. Okay. Plus, I was a little smaller. I was about 235, 240 when I got there. So I would go against Glenn Hurd. And, he beat the crap out of me. And, Jim Dornis and Pat Silva, who Pat and I are still friends because he went to a local school. We were in this Chestmont League. Those guys, they beat me up. But I took it. And I just kept moving on. And, I kept lifting weights and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Every year I was a little bit bigger. But I want to step back real quick because the walk-on part. So I come to campus like all the other freshmen right when they do. You guys have already started. I missed camp, and the first day they have all the walk-ons. They have us all in a big group. All right. They say, okay, anybody who wants to be a quarterback, go over to that group. Anybody who wants to be a running back, go over to that group. And he says, anybody who wants to be a lineman, go over there. So I took off and I'm running over to the group. Then all of a sudden I realized I'm by myself. I'm the only person the offensive lineman that walked on that year. I'm like halfway there. I'm like, do I stop and turn around and go back to, maybe defensive line or something?
Yeah.
But
it got some other group.
Yeah. I was like, but, I kept going and I jumped right into the drills. And from that point on, well, the first 3 days, as you know, it was only helmets. You could only do helmets.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the fourth day, I go down to the stadium. I'm like, okay, where's my uniform? And you probably know Matt. I think it's Matt Olshansky. Do you remember him?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, he was a grad coach. And so I said, Coach, where do I get my uniform? He goes, you're the center, right? And I go, yeah. So he points me over to where Kenny did his uniforms. What I didn't realize is that you actually had to make the team. And they had a list of players posted up in the football office. I didn't know that. I just assumed that, you can walk on. And, I just said, okay, the fourth date, I'm ready to go. And just went on from there. So sophomore year, I got on the field by doing kickoffs, which I hated because I always got my butt kicked and knocked over backwards. Vito used to yell at me. But then I started long snapping. And junior year, I got into games long snapping. Okay. I had to snap the ball to Merrill Tate. And against IUP, we beat them my sophomore year, which is probably one of the greatest wins. Wow. We won 21-18. See, I can remember the score because they were ranked number one in the country or two or three in the country.
They're always good.
Yeah, and we beat them. And I thought I was going to get in the game because we get our butts kicked. But towards the end of the game, I thought I'm going to get in because we're kicking their butts. But it didn't. Well, the next year, junior year, we go out to IUP, and I'm always snapping from our 5-yard line. And I'm like, oh my God, don't snap it over Merrill's head. And
Merrill's not super tall either.
No. So anyway, so that worked out, and then that's when I was second team center behind my good friend Mike, and actually John McLaughlin was center that year. My junior year, they moved Mike over to center from nose guard, and more on that later. But so I junior year, I started getting into the tackle. I was getting into the game a little bit, playing a little bit of center, and then at the end of the season, before Clarion, they called me in and they said, "We're going to move you to right tackle. We're going to move you, put you in," because I think Steve was hurt. Steve Hastings was hurt.
Yeah.
I think Pat Livingston was hurt. So they put me in at right tackle. And I started the last two games, Clarion and Shepherd, at Shepherd, in the Civitan Bowl. By the way, we won the Civitan Bowl. We even got a trophy for it.
What the hell is a Civitan
do
Bowl?
Do you remember that, Rob?
I don't. I don't.
What is a Civitan Bowl?
They had the Shepherd, the football field. They had a thing. They painted the field. It said the Civitan Bowl. And we're like, oh, hey, we won the Civitan Bowl. And we got a trophy. The captains carried it off and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So then, but right shortly after that, so I finished the year starting as offensive tackle my junior year. By that point, I was like 250, 255. And so then Vito gets let go. And they bring Coach Bott in. And Coach Johnson, the line coach, and that was one of my influences from, he came from West Virginia, Dave Johnson, who I still touch base with him on Twitter. And next thing you know, I'm back at center. And here I am, second team again. My senior year, it's like time's a wasting. Everybody says, those games go fast, and sure enough, they did. So just senior year, but they realized at the end of my junior year that, I was going to play a lot. As a matter of fact, they let me take first snaps with the first team during the spring game at the end of my junior year. And then I got into games my senior year. And then, Rob, do you remember Edinburgh? The fight?
Yes.
Okay.
The fight.
We're at Edinburgh. But remember, we set the record for the most points scored by a losing team.
No, I remember. I know Robbie's record, man.
Yeah. Oh, man. So after that game, they called me in and they said they're moving Mike to defense back to nose tackle, which is where he should have been. And then I was going to finish on an offense. So at that point, Steve Eladio took my long snapping job, by the way, Rob. I haven't forgotten that.
Yeah.
I'll have words with him. So I finished the last two games at center where I played. And it was a great time. I walked on and I walked off as a starter.
Yeah.
And to your point earlier, Fran, so the last 2 weeks I go into the football office. I think we had to sign in before class. It was a new thing that Bott implemented. And if you were late, you had breakfast club, which I never made. So I go into the football office. Go into one of the rooms, and they got the offensive depth chart up on the wall. And so they had me at center at first, and I'm looking at that. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I looked at the other positions, and I was the first backup for every other position. Okay? They didn't tell me that. But so to me, that was the justification of the work that I put in over the 4 years, that, this is what it's worth. This is why it's worth it.
Did you know every assignment of every offensive line position?
Yes. And I'll tell you why.
Good for you.
Because as a center, you pretty much have to know
that's true.
What everybody's doing.
You got to help everybody. Yeah.
Okay. And you have to know what the quarterback's doing. You have to know what the running backs are doing. I don't care about the wide receivers. They can do their thing out there.
But you need no protections. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're pulling, you're doing this, you're doing that. You got to know, if you're coming off your block, you got to know what everybody's doing. So it was kind of easy, really. So if anybody went down, I would have gone to that position and Mike would have had to come back to offense.
Right.
So that was my justification.
I don't know that I was that good at learning the positions. I just remember you mentioned Matt Oshansky. We had this one play my senior year where we would both like fake pull left and kind of then go right on like a sweep. or something like
Okay.
that. And I think 3 or 4 times in a practice session, Oshansky and I ran into each other right
Oh,
behind the center, and it was
I hate
just
when that
like
happens.
we could
I hate
not
when that
figure this.
happens.
So I was good at left guard, and I was don't move me.
Okay. Well, it's funny because earlier at homecoming that year against California, which we won 38-20, another score that I remember,
Nice.
they put me in at right guard. And I guess to give Barry a rest, Barry Sloan. Um, and the first play, um, who is it, Rob?
Roth.
Billy Roth. Man, Billy Roth calls an audible where I have to pull. So I'm in my stance and I hear the audible. I'm like, oh my God, I got to kick out and hit the defensive end. He changed it to 56G, which is a 56 give, and the guard pulls out.
56 give. Yes, I remember it well.
You see how 40 years later you still remember this stuff?
That's interesting because I have not heard 56 give or 26 give in
Yeah.
forever. But yeah.
Now I did get 1- in that game because
One?
yes, because they ran an even defense, so I was supposed to come off my block and get the linebacker, and I forgot. Okay, and the linebacker came up and slammed the running back, and Bot starts yelling in the film room, and I'm like, "Will you stop rewinding it?" I was like, "I get it," but
I hated the film projector, man. Just the rewinding process was so slow.
So loud. Yeah.
Well, Coach Johnson,
Vito would just like if you made a mistake, Vito would just run that thing over and over.
Coach Johnson was the same way. He's the one from West Virginia. And if the guard pulled, and he didn't like the way you stepped, like you stepped like this, but you were supposed to step like that. You'd see the guy's foot going like this for like 5 minutes.
Look at your footwork.
Oh man, he was hitting that clicker.
Years later, I got to introduce Coach Johnson at the Pennsylvania State Coaching Clinic.
Oh, you did?
And yes, and we caught up first, and he's like, "Holy shit," and he was somewhere else at the time. I forget where he was by that point, but he was the same way. And it was funny. They had like temporary stages set up for the coaches to present on. He would step and show the coaches how to do it. The whole freaking stage would move because Dave, he was a stud. He had been a tight end, and then he ended up moving down to center. He's just a big dude. And his footwork was incredible. And he was already, a little bit older, not older, but a little bit older.
Still had.
He could have played. Yeah. He was the whole damn stage shook. And I'm like, damn, I don't want to have to pick up this stage.
That's funny.
After the game, Sunday night we had the meeting and the film room. At the end of the film, it was wrapping up. Everybody was in a good mood, and Coach Johnson was down at the bottom, and he stands up and he goes, "Okay, Fran Conway, pretty good game at guard." I'm like, "All right," it was another justification. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Those are rare moments.
Well, hey,
when you get positive feedback.
Exactly. You mentioned a couple names of players and coaches, but let's go through with the question: what players and coaches influence you the most?
Okay, that's pretty easy. From the coach's standpoint, one was Coach Heckler, Bill Heckler. He was a great coach, a great person, very good to listen to. Enjoyed listening to him. As a matter of fact, I think our junior year he decided to go get away from football, and he sent all the linemen a letter in the summertime. Mm-hmm. I still have that letter.
Nice.
But so he meant a lot, and I saw him at one of the golf outings. And it was a real pleasure to play with him. And then the second coach would be Coach Johnson. He came in, taught us a new way to block, and it was perfect. I mean, you come out with like your hands out, and then you roll your hips, and then the guy goes back. And then you got a crush. They called it a crush. When you pancake the guy, right. That's what they called it, and it was real easy because the way he's taught you. And he didn't just teach you. You did it over and over and over and over again. And, repetition. And then, that's how it works. And just like, with that play at guard where I didn't come off and go to the linebacker, repetition. Even in work today, like if there's a certain task that, is going to be hard, I keep telling them I got to do it. I got to be the one to do that. I need to keep doing it over and over and over again, repetition, repetition, repetition. So from that standpoint, yeah, he was a great guy to work with. I remember during camp, the coaches were in one of the rooms at Seavers, and he calls me in, and he goes, "Do you think you could play guard in a pinch?" And I thought he meant like pinch, like everybody pinches in, like short yardage.
Right.
I didn't realize he meant it. I didn't know what to say, so I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." But as far as players are concerned, I mentioned this earlier. Glenn Hurd. He was a great guy.
He's a great player too. Great player.
Yeah, and when sometimes if I was a little over eager, he would calm me down, say, "Okay, take it easy. We're only going half speed, not." But no, he was a good guy. And so his senior year, he got a fumble recovery in the last game against James Madison. I came over and said congratulations to him, we knew each other well. So yeah, he was great. Another one, and I just popped in my head, and he'll probably get me for this, but the other one was Chip Dimmick, offensive guard.
Yep. Oh yeah.
He looked after me. I think he still played my sophomore year, so he was a senior, like another year. And I told him I was losing weight, and he said, "You getting worried? Are you okay?" He would check on me, making sure that I was doing okay. And I never forgot that. And I got to see Chip on Saturday.
Yeah, at the golf outing.
Oh, good.
Always a pleasure.
He's awesome.
And we trade texts once in a while. So he was definitely one to follow after. And he hard worker. So he was probably one of the other ones that was an influence for me.
I got a comment since you brought them both up. I mean, those are two guys, huge influences on me. Still great friends today. Billy Heckler, probably in all the years that I played sports, probably one of the greatest coaches I've ever played for.
Okay.
You know what, Fran? You said you don't call me Francis. Billy called me Francis all the time. He called me a bunch of things, but he would always call me Francis. But and Chip Dimmick. I mean, I have so much respect for Chip. He and I golfed together on Saturday.
Oh.
I look back at Chip. Chip's always like, "Fran, you taught me everything I know." And I was like, "Bull crap, man." I said, "Chip's two-time all-conference, Vinton Rambo winner. He was a beast." And
yeah, absolutely.
Really good. Yeah. Two great guys.
So I looked for him after everything broke up on Saturday because I wanted to get a picture with him. So, here's the guy who's 2 or 3 years ahead of me, and here I am looking for him, trying to get a picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, he meant a lot. Great guy. So
definitely.
Those are the coaches, and those are the players.
Those are good choices, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we talked about Rodney earlier. I saw Rodney at everything. Rodney would be at games. He'd be at homecoming. He'd be at our R4L events. What would you tell somebody why they should engage, not even so much with our R4L, but just with Raider football, man? Like, get back into it. We got to get guys back into it.
Yeah, no, and that's a great question. And I'll be honest with you, it's the brotherhood. All these guys, they're my Red Raider brothers. And, guys that I'm friends with on Facebook, if it's their birthday, I always say, "Happy birthday, Fran, Red Raider brother."
Right.
All the time. And I think, this is why I was so glad that Coach Mack emphasized this and getting players back, because nobody was around. Nobody came back. And then he started this, gathering and got everything going. And I mean, I got a lot of friends out there, and they all played football for Shippensburg. And some of them played before me and after me.
Anything else you would like to discuss, Fran?
Yeah, two things.
Okay.
Maybe a story or two, but so Fran, and I've told you this before, and I think this is what got me in good graces with Vito, was that he would come up, he remembered you, and he would come up to me, "Francis Xavier," and then, that's how he goes. That's how he always talked to me. He always said Francis Xavier. And, "Oh, we had a guy before here, and before you, he was the exact same name." Yeah, so that was awesome.
I don't know that Vito ever called me Francis Xavier. I got the classic, "You jackass."
Oh, well, we got called that too.
With a big dip in.
Big dip in.
And I've heard stories about that too from Ben Miller. But so yeah, so that was awesome, and then that's what I'm glad I got to know you now because of
Hell
that.
yeah.
And got to thank Vito. Um,
That's the best thing about all
the
this.
other thing, couple quick stories. So Rob, I don't think you were here yet. I was a sophomore. You were what, 2 years behind me?
Yeah.
Okay. So my sophomore year, we're playing Clarion. Okay, they were ranked third in the country at the time. We played them head to head for the whole game, and it took them to get a last minute field goal to win. So everybody's all we're all cocky and uppity, and then we go up to Lock Haven and we lose. And I was depressed, and I went out to party, and back then we had the mile run on Sundays at 4 o'clock, right?
Ugh.
Well, I was too sick to run the mile, and me and my buddy were. You remember Kevin Kaler?
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah,
So
I do.
we both lived in Mowry Hall. We're walking over to the stadium to do the run. It's like 3:45, and we're getting ready to cross the road, by the Cub, and we notice all the coaches going by, and we're like, that's weird. Something's wrong here, and because only the grad assistants came to the 4 o'clock run. So we get closer to the field, and we get to the stadium, and we see everybody's in their full pads on the field.
Ugh.
Well, Vito was so mad after that Lock Haven game that we scrimmaged for like 2 hours
On a Sunday.
And I was just I was talking about it this weekend. Somebody told me the first teamers, they went against each other over in the practice field. The second teamers and third teamers, we went at it full speed on the stadium field. And I think what they were doing was looking to see who could step up. But oh my God, that was brutal. Brutal.
You can't do that today.
No, that would be illegal.
You can't do that today.
Oh,
That'd be a violation.
Yeah. My last game ever. I was center, you were quarterback, and we go down to the goal line, and it's fourth down, so we're going to try and draw them off sides. So, you yell, go, 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 go. And, I hold on to the ball, nothing happens, and we take the 5 yards and kick the field goal. Well, you're yelling, go, go, go. And then you stopped and said, don't snap it. No, I heard you say, snap it. That's all I heard was snap it. So I snapped it. And then we lost possession because we didn't get the first down.
And I'm just going to plead the fifth here because we've talked about this before. I guess I got hit in the head a lot in college because I do not remember this at all. I'm going to need film, Fran.
Well, here you go. I have a picture. All right, I'm going to hold it up.
Oh, you got a picture.
You won't be able to see it, but
Physical
I'm going to
evidence.
describe it, okay?
Do you have
Here's the
evidence?
picture. Wait a minute. There we go.
There you go, right there.
All right, so that's the field against Shepherd, right?
Okay.
I'm on the field. I was like, nobody was near me, and I got my arms out like this, and you're right in front of me, and I was going, why did you tell me to snap it? and you yelled at me, you went, I said, don't snap it.
Yeah,
I
there
said,
you go.
no, you didn't. You said snap it.
Quarterback's always right.
Fran, I'm sorry, man. I don't remember.
I also
Maybe
got
I'm
a
drinking
penalty.
too much the night before. Nah,
I got a penalty that game too. I jumped off sides on the goal line.
Dude, that's
on a field goal. Because Haladio took too long to snap it. See, I got issues with him. So I was in a guard, and the holder goes set, and then right away you usually snap it right away. Well, he didn't, so I stepped forward, and we got a penalty. And Coach Johnson, I come back to the field goal, and then we got the 5 yards, and the field goal was missed. We didn't get the extra point. I come to the sidelines. Coach Johnson's right in my face. That was your fault.
Yeah.
So, okay,
I would say
I'm
that
done
would
after
happen.
this. I'm not playing again. So, yeah. So there you go. I probably got a bunch more, but
they go on forever, man.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll finish them off at the spring game next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or next fall.
Yes. Fran, thanks a lot, man. That was a great conversation. Really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Great to
Cool.
see you, Fran.
It was
Little
good seeing
different
you at the golf
perspective.
outing.
little different perspective from from a Division II Rudy. That's what I call myself. So I walked on and walked off as a starter. That's the way
There you
I
go,
look at it.
man. Good for you.
So, but thank you. I'm glad I got to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I look forward to it.
Good. All right, man.
Good seeing you,
Thanks,
Fran.
Fran.
All right, guys. Good seeing you. Rob, we got to get together in Phoenixville.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
All right.
All right. And then
All
we
right.
start next fall. In
All
August, we're back. See you in August.
Sounds good. Take care.